You are born into this world, unaware of the journey your soul has taken before you drew your first breath. The moment you take your first inhale, you are already part of an ancient process, a journey of endless transformation. But the questions linger: what happens when life ends? Is death truly the end? What awaits the soul when the body no longer breathes? In many traditions, death is not the conclusion but the beginning of yet another chapter in the eternal cycle of existence. Imagine for a moment that you are not just your body, but the timeless spirit that animates it. That spirit, your soul, is not bound to the finite limitations of this physical realm. When the body ceases to exist, your soul, too, departs from the earthly plane, returning to a higher spiritual realm. But where does it go? What does it experience? How does it decide where to journey next? This is where the mystery begins. The soul, after it leaves the body, enters a space known as the bardo in Tibetan Buddhism, or the intermediate state. Here, time becomes fluid and space infinite. It is a liminal place, a space between worlds, between incarnations. In this state, the soul reflects on its past life, the choices made, and the lessons learned, or not learned. As the soul moves through the bardo, it is not alone. Guides, sometimes known as spirit guides or ancestors, may appear to assist it. They help the soul navigate through this vast space, offering wisdom, support, and sometimes the gentle push needed to continue evolving. The soul's journey is not a solitary one, for even in death, the interconnectedness of all things is undeniable. But what does it mean to evolve? To transcend? Your soul, like all souls, has an innate desire to grow. It is a longing for higher consciousness, an urge to reunite with the source from which it emerged. Each life is an opportunity to transcend, to awaken from the illusions of the material world and to remember the truth of who you really are, divine, infinite, and free. Yet, as the soul journeys through the bardo, it must confront its karmic debts, choices, actions, and intentions from previous lives. These karmic imprints influence its next incarnation. The soul's next steps are determined by its karma, the accumulated energy from past lives that shapes its future. It is not a punishment, but rather an opportunity for healing and balance. The soul, at this crossroads, begins to make decisions that will affect its next life. It is here, in this realm of infinite possibility, that a soul begins to contemplate its next incarnation. It knows that it must be born again, for the cycle of existence is unbroken. But how does it decide where and how to return? The process is not random. It is not by chance that you were born to the parents you have. Every soul, upon crossing over, will carefully select a new set of circumstances, new parents, a new environment, and new challenges, based on the lessons it still needs to learn, the karma it needs to balance, and the spiritual growth it seeks. But this choice, though profound, is not an easy one. The soul's desire to choose its next parents is deeply tied to its spiritual evolution. It must choose a set of conditions that will foster its growth, just as a seed chooses its soil to sprout and thrive. The parents it chooses are not merely individuals, it is the circumstances, the environment, and the potential for growth that calls to the soul, and so, with each choice, the soul steps into its next life, ever guided by the unseen forces that lead it through its cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. The soul does not act alone, it is part of a grand cosmic dance that binds it to all things, past, present, and future. The soul, now poised to reincarnate, begins to look for a suitable environment, a space in which it can continue its journey toward higher consciousness. But what does the soul look for in its next parents? The answer lies in a hidden wisdom, one that transcends the physical and touches the depths of spiritual truths. Your soul is not bound by the limitations of time or space. It sees beyond the immediate circumstances and looks for conditions that will allow it to evolve. These conditions are not always comfortable, nor are they always obvious. The soul chooses not only its parents but the challenges and lessons that will unfold within the context of that family. The karmic ties between souls are powerful. It is common to believe that we choose our parents based on love or coincidence, but deeper wisdom reveals that we often choose them for reasons that are not immediately apparent. Perhaps, in a past life, you made a promise to someone who will now become your parent. Or perhaps you have unresolved karma with a family member, and this lifetime offers an opportunity to heal that bond. When the soul selects its parents, it is choosing not only individuals but a karmic opportunity to resolve past imbalances. These parents, though they may seem ordinary, or even problematic, serve as the perfect catalysts for your soul's growth. The challenges they present may seem harsh or unfair, but to the awakened soul, they are the very tools needed for transformation. The soul, in its wisdom, knows that growth is born of challenge. It chooses parents who will provide the circumstances necessary for its evolution. Perhaps you are born into a family of great wealth, which will teach you lessons about materialism and attachment. Or perhaps you are born into a family of hardship, where your spirit must learn resilience, compassion, or humility. The soul's choice is guided by its understanding of what it needs to learn, not what is easiest or most pleasant. In this sense, the parents are not random but carefully selected, even if they appear to be at odds with your desires or expectations. They are the perfect mirrors, reflecting back to you the lessons you must learn to progress spiritually. The spiritual design of the universe ensures that your soul, in its highest state of awareness, will always be drawn to the conditions most conducive to its growth. Yet, the soul's choice is not just about balancing karma, it is also about the specific evolutionary path it must take. Every soul is on a unique journey. Some souls come to earth to experience love and joy, while others are here to learn forgiveness, patience, or detachment. Each soul has a different path, and so, each soul will be drawn to a different set of conditions and parents. For many, these lessons may unfold in unexpected ways. You may experience deep struggles or periods of suffering, but understand this, these are not signs of failure or punishment. They are invitations to grow. The parents you chose, though they may seem flawed or distant, are playing an essential role in your soul's journey. Their imperfections are not mistakes, they are part of the divine plan that is unfolding. As you look at your life, understand that everything, the challenges, the joys, the relationships, are part of a greater spiritual design. Your soul's selection of its parents is not a random event, it is a profound act of cosmic intelligence, one that speaks to the deep interconnectedness of all beings. It is part of the eternal flow of life and death, birth and rebirth, that guides the soul ever closer to enlightenment. As the soul begins its new life, born once again into the arms of chosen parents, it steps into the world with a purpose that is part of a much larger, cosmic plan. In the grand design of the universe, there is no such thing as randomness. Every soul is part of an intricate and divine tapestry. Each thread carefully woven into the fabric of time and space. You, as a soul, are not alone in this journey. Every life you encounter, every parent you choose, every challenge you face, is part of this grand, interconnected web of existence. The struggles you endure, the lessons you learn, are all part of the divine curriculum designed to help you remember who you truly are, an eternal, infinite being of light, love, and wisdom. And as you grow, you may find that the lessons from your chosen parents shape you in ways you never imagined. The hardships that once seemed insurmountable may, in time, reveal themselves as stepping stones, each one bringing you closer to the truth of your existence. As you awaken to the deeper mysteries of life, you will begin to see that everything, the good, the bad, the joyful, and the painful, is part of your soul's journey toward enlightenment. But there is more. For as you evolve, so too do your parents. They, too, are souls on their own journey. And in the cosmic web of life, you are not merely learning from them, you are teaching them as well. The relationship between parent and child is not one-sided. Each soul plays a part in the other's spiritual growth. In the end, when you reflect on your life, you will see that the choice of your parents was no accident. It was part of a divine plan, a plan that sought to bring you to this moment of understanding, to this moment of spiritual awakening. Your soul chose these parents, these circumstances, because they were the perfect tools for your evolution. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, has woven this plan together, ensuring that every soul finds its way back to the source, that every soul experiences the divine truth it seeks. And in this journey, every choice, every life, every parent, every lesson, is part of the greater story of spiritual awakening and transformation. As you continue on your path, remember, you are not just a body, you are a soul, eternal and ever-evolving. The parents you chose, the life you live, are but steps on the journey back to the divine light that is your true nature, and as you awaken to the truth of your existence, you will come to see that this is the greatest lesson of all, that we are all interconnected, all part of the same divine whole. The soul's journey is never truly solitary. It is a collective dance, a cosmic cycle, where each step brings us closer to the divine truth of our being. The soul chooses its parents with great wisdom and intention, guided by the karma of its past lives and the lessons it still must learn. Through this process, the soul enters the material world once again, embracing the challenges that will lead it closer to enlightenment. This is the grand design of the universe, a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth that exists to remind us of the eternal nature of our souls and our divine connection to all that is. the parents you chose are not mere happenstance. They are part of the divine plan, tools for your soul's evolution. Through them, you learn, you grow, and you awaken to the greater truths of your existence. And as you continue this journey, remember that you are not alone. Every life, every soul you encounter, is part of this magnificent and intricate web of life, woven together by the hand of the divine.